My name is Sebastian, and I run Conquer. Started as a bit of an idea about how we could apply an art form into an actual product that would make some sort of livelihood, and maybe do that for ourselves rather than for other people as design work or kind of getting a job in a more corporate side of things. So background was in sales before that. Studied in art college. Met a very talented illustrator called Tomoya Hidematsu. We started in the Spitalfields market 5 years ago. Green as you like, and not knowing anything of what we were going to do, and we're here today because we stuck at it, I guess. Conquer is a reactionary body. It's something which we have planning, and we know we want to achieve certain things, but it's great to be a small unit with a few people involved, and gives you this immense freedom to be able to say yes and just do something and make it happen. That is something that I've cultivated over a long time, is to be able to react to whatever's happening, and if we've got some spare time, to be able to put ourselves into a project. I found out about this place in Sugar Mountain off Pauline, one of the hubs of Forest Hill, and she kind of told me about the project, and it sounded really interesting, and by giving my details to her, I got contacted by Louise Brooks really quickly, and 3 weeks later we're here in a space. We started off with just 2 very small amounts of money being invested to start Conquer, and then kind of rechanneling that money into making new projects, and not all were very successful, and without a big backer you can only ever really put as much time into certain things. And I think that's one of the great things about the C3 project, is that there are so many people putting so much time and energy into it, and I've been quite amazed at some of the amount of hours that people have put in that aren't getting paid for this, that out of the love of the area and wanting to do something different have helped. I think a 5 to 10 year lease can be pretty scary, especially for a small business that doesn't have backing. It's something where I guess you look at the long term and you think, well, if the worst does happen and this isn't going amazingly, how do I get out of that? And kind of going bankrupt is one of the only ways of doing that. And I think that's been what has stopped me from really exploring that. There's the overheads and stuff like this that kind of you look at and think, well, that's a fair bit of chunk of money to actually commit to. 5 to 10 years is a huge amount of time. It can also be beneficial to actually have an area that's being regenerated, but you never quite know what 3 years can do. It's always kind of helpful to have someone to turn to actually ask questions, because I hadn't done this before, and there is a whole heap of other things that you just really don't know until you go in when you're working with the shop space and the physicality of it. So having the team behind to ask questions to, and even if they don't know, they're very willing to go and find out the information. That's been a massive help. Depending on what your business is and what you're trying to achieve with it, then a shop space and a pop-up one will teach you a lot. Whether it's something to do when you first start a business, probably not. But if you have something that you're struggling to get somewhere beyond the remit of kind of making something, and you have a limited market for it, then a pop-up really can not only kind of get your awareness out there kind of a lot more, but it can also help you to maybe understand a little bit better the processes that will get you to the next rung of the ladder.